Hey, we got people in. What's going on, guys? Let's see. How do you do this thing? Doesn't show. Hmm. All right. Oh, we just got parked. Yeah, that was a long day. It actually became a long day because we had we had to go. We had to deadhead quite a bit to go pick up this thing, man. I'm kind of, I don't know, oversized now. Look at that. The moon is up and shining, man. It's beautiful out here. Anyway, this is what we got. I don't know if you guys saw my post. This thing, I've never hauled one of these things before. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was scared. Well, I wasn't scared, I was more like nervous, you know? It's like securing this thing is not hard, really, you know? It's quite simple, believe it or not. It's just, it's gonna ride funny, it's gonna be awkward. It's too bad we don't got no more light. The sun just went down really out here. We're just crossed into the Nebraska line. Went and took the what road am I on? 183? Yeah, 183, just shooting north because I was trying to get a permit for Colorado, and Colorado, the app, the website was acting funny. It was like requiring me to do an escort. This thing is only like 11.4. So like there was a couple of areas where in Colorado, when you go through Denver, just on the east side of Denver, it had it was requiring me an escort, you know, to do an escort. What's up, bro? DeAndre Berry? What's going on, man? But anyway, it's not that big, you know. It's like I said, it's 10 foot wide, right? And with all of the little attachment to it, like this thing right here, this little piece right here, and that piece, and up top, it becomes 11.4 total. Up top, it's it's 10.9 up top. No. 10.11. The heck am I thinking? Basically, I'm gonna be 13.10 from the ground up with my trailer. So the reason why I took it, hey, what's up, man? Are you from Atlanta? No, I'm not from Atlanta. I'm from Vegas, actually. So anyway, yeah, the reason why I took it, because I know states that it was gonna go through that were legal, like even up to 14.6. Actually, Nebraska, I believe 14.6. And I think Kansas is like 14 something, just a little bit over 14. And then we're gonna go into Wyoming, and I know Wyoming is gonna be 14. So we're okay on that. It's just over with. Wait, you're gonna go see me, man. Anyway, I wanted to discuss like operating rates, right? Operating costs. There's some people, I had a comment, right? I don't mind, you know, being burned in the comment or whatever, right? Or people telling me that I'm dumb, or I sound dumb, or, you know, I'm giving out misinformation or whatever, right? If that truly is the case, you know, I don't mind that, right? But I have a problem when, not a problem, it's just that like this one individual commented, so confident too, like confidently commented that, you know, my operating cost or average operating cost is 275 or whatever, right? That may be the case. And he was claiming that I am at a loss because how much my operating cost is or whatever, right? Anyway, man, listen. Everybody's operating cost is different, okay? Your operating costs will be different than mine. But as far as like how much is gonna alleviate from there, you would have to be really, really uninformed if it alleviates so much more. Okay, so last time I calculated my operating cost is around 147 a mile. Okay, that's with a loan, with a and high insurance. Okay, my insurance is 19K a year. When I first started, it was only 14K a year. And then it was gonna go down to 12K a year. So now I'm paying 19K a year because all the inflation crap and all of these insurance are taking advantage of things. But anyway, this individual was like, man, I pay, or he was saying that I'm paying 75 cents a mile in fuel. Man, if you're doing 75 cents a mile in fuel, man, what kind of truck do you have? Like a 12 mpg truck? You know what I mean? If I did a rough calculation, right? I did at 315, which is what I'm averaging over here, 315 a gallon. Okay, my fuel on a 6.8 mpg truck. This is math now. This is not like some freaking guesstimate or anything like that. It's not a guess. It's not none of that. It's math. It's 100% math. That I'm at 47 cents a mile in fuel to operate. Okay, so and my 19K whatchamacallit, 19K year insurance, when I run 100K miles, that is gonna be at 19 to 20 cents a mile, I believe, my operating costs on that. So just those alone, just those itself, we're still way under. And then my maintenance is gonna be I'm putting it at 25 cents a mile because that we have a trailer now. So when you put it at 25 cents, we're still way under $1. And then everything else, like IFTA and all of this, it's kind of cold over here. That's why I'm a little shaky. But IFTA and everything else, you're probably looking at another stinking, what, 22, 23 cents a mile? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know how some people are getting 275 cents a mile. That's so crazy, If you got 275 cents a mile to operate a trucking business, you might as well just get out, because you ain't never gonna be profitable. You ain't never gonna average above on average, above, what, if you wanted to pay somebody, say 60 cents a mile, you ain't never gonna average anything like on average across the board throughout the year. There's no way, unless you're in contract, I guess. Maybe I don't know no better, but you're looking at what, 340, 330 a mile? You know what I mean? Average. Not talking about like, one day you're gonna get 330, 340, and then the next day, you're gonna get like 250. No, you have to be the very bottom. If you are 275 a mile on operating costs, you have to be at the very bottom, probably around, add another 50 cents to that, just so you can pay the driver itself, So, I don't know. Well, maybe they're calculating the driver at 275 a mile, okay? Okay, now I can see that point. But this individual was saying that you cannot profit unless you are above 275 cents a mile. I think that's totally insane. So I don't know. I don't know how they got those numbers, but anyway, yeah, he was so confident with what he was saying, like this is exactly what I'm saying. Like, a lot of the trucking industry has there's a lot of hear and say. Here, I heard this, therefore it's got to be true. You know what I mean? Without running, actual, factual check, you know what I mean? Or actually doing the numbers, running the numbers themselves, you know what I mean? So it's like, it just blows my mind. Like, I made a video at the beginning of the year, and he would have a heart attack if he seen that video where I said, can you profit $2 a mile? Well, absolutely you can, but I think that would be your very bottom, But it just like I said, it just blows my mind, you know what I mean? I think I don't, like, a lot of people that are watching, just remember, you're loved. Everyone, okay, Thank you, man. But anyway, um, what was I? What was what my train of thought is? Okay, like when you guys watch me, man, I don't like when I make videos. I don't want you to just 100% believe what I'm saying. You know what I mean? That's not what I want to put out there. I want to give the information, and then I need you as the consumer of that information to verify that information. And if the information cannot be verified, you shouldn't believe me 100%. You know what I mean? That's you need to just like put that on the side and hang it up there and be like, you know what, I'm gonna look that up, I'm gonna research it. I don't ever tell people, yeah, that's actual, that's the fact. Like, you're wrong, I'm right. I would never do that. I always give the people benefit of the doubt. And that's what I think a lot of in trucking is missing, is that critical thinking. You know what I mean? So if you see if you have never seen any of my videos, and you're an owner operator, okay, I don't care if it's you've been in it for 30, 50, 40 years, I don't care, 2 years or whatever. But as soon as you see some of my videos, I don't think I have a video out there where I'm saying that, you have to do this, you have to do that, or else you're gonna fail. You know what I mean? No. So, all right, I appreciate you, Jimmy. What's going on, Benito Garcia? What's up, man? Hey, I appreciate the sub, Tanya. Yeah, never mind. I subbed. Okay. I'm going to go see ya. Okay. But anyway, I would never tell anybody, or like, I would never give that impression to my videos, to where I'm saying that, this is it. You can't do any other way. You know what I mean? And and I think that's what missing in trucking a lot, is that critical thinking. Oh yeah, yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at, is that critical thinking, that, if you've seen one of my videos and be like, you should automatically, I mean, as a, somebody who thinks critically, you would criticize me, absolutely, yes. But at the same time, you would also try to interpret that, be like, wait a minute, what I have learned in the past doesn't jive with what this guy is saying. So maybe I should, you know what I mean, look it up, or you know ask other people. Maybe the information I have is wrong, or maybe his information is wrong. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I would never, but that should be like the impression that, you as the consumer of this content should get from this channel, not like, me telling you that, hey, you can only profit at 275 a mile. No, no shot I would say that ever. You know what I mean? So I thought that was funny, that I was gonna make actually an actual long form video of it, but I think live would be more, you know, uh, just so we got more time, because we're always busy, man, always busy. So anyway, if you're just getting on here, so we picked this oversized load from, let me see, it's, all right, I got warmed up a little bit now. Okay, if you're just getting on here, we picked this oversized load in Rush Center, Kansas. Okay, it's 10 wide, and with all of the stuff on the side of it, it becomes 11.4 wide total. Okay, these little attachment on the side of it, this right here, and then there's another thing on the other side which calculate to about 11.4. Height-wise, we are legal based on the states that we're running. We're gonna be running this from Kansas to Nebraska to Wyoming. I took the Nebraska route because of the fact that when I punched it in on Colorado side, Colorado was doing something funky on the route. They were requiring me to have an escort for 5 miles. I was like, nah, we're not doing that. That's why we went ahead and just shoot north on the 183. And then I was looking at the map. Actually, I think I might have made a mistake on the route. Oversized, well, wise, okay? I think because this is going to Douglas, Wyoming, which is like south side of Casper, you know. and that's on the 25. And I think I could actually cut on the 26. I gotta check the route. I gotta check that and see, just to make sure, you know. Uh, y'all gotta remember, I'm new to this routing thing, man. You know, I like utilizing their website now. You know, Nebraska, Kansas, Colorado, Iowa, Minnesota. It's really simple, believe it or not. It's not that difficult, you know, as long as you know, you're familiar with, you know what I mean, your numbers, you know, your legality state-wise, you know, from one state to another, and you can actually, you know, actually easier to get your own permits instead of using a permit service, because like JJ Keller usually takes me take them 2 hours, because what it is like you got to go through a process, right? It's not only the $45 thing that they charge you, but uh, that it has to go through a step. When the person receives your call, and then they get all your information for that oversized, your inquiry, and then they're going to send that to another individual, and then that individual is going to have to send that same information to somebody who does the routing. You know what I mean? So if you just learn the routing yourself, and the website for the certain states actually make it so simple to do the routing. So, you know, that's why uh, I'm glad that I started doing this. You know what I mean? I'm getting slightly the hang of it. You know what I mean? Hopefully, get used to it. You know, better and better and better. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, let's see the load board coming out of Wyoming. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I tell you, I really am not. But where I come from, man, today I was looking at the load board. We drop off we did the load, a short load from Kansas City to Lincoln, Nebraska, and then the guy that I usually deal with over there in Fremont for the past couple of weeks, you know, usually have oversized. Didn't have nothing going on this week, man, nothing. So I was like, okay, no problems. We can really easily adjust, right? So that's why I found this load going up into Wyoming, but that's okay because Casper, Douglas, Wyoming is right there on the border. You know what I mean? You got a deadhead 500 miles. So this is like going to Denver. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I guess depends on how you look at it, really. You know, I know we're not gonna get nothing out of there. I know that for a fact. We're gonna get zit out of there. But there was a load of hay, and it's oversized going to Texas. I don't want to go to Texas, but with the numbers I gave them, they have, you know, they agree. I doubt they will agree to it, but if they agree, we'll take it to Texas. Why not? You know what I mean? So, but it was going to be an oversized too. It's going to be 10 foot. It's going to be five by five. You know, 5 by 5 bales of hay. So, the only thing is that it'll require like maybe 8 or 9 40-foot straps, probably. Yeah. So I got 6 of them. We'll see. We can always, like, you know what I mean, like do this little trick where we can use two straps. You know, hook one strap over, make a U to it, hook it up on a spool, and then hook it up again. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I know what you're talking about though. Wyoming is not gonna be good. Wyoming, heading to Wyoming. As a matter of fact, you're in Utah, right? You know, if I find a load going into Utah to the Salt Lake area, I'll probably take it, you know, and then go home. We need to take a break, you know. So, but yeah, we're heading to Casper area, south side of Casper, you know, Douglas, Wyoming. I guess there's like a little, they're doing a little construction over there. They're gonna put this thing up there. So I don't even know what they call this thing. I don't know, like a water thing, water tank. Oh, you a steak? You don't have to, man. uh, I got a friend named David. Oh, I mean Darren. He's vegan, so he's like he probably wouldn't like me seeing eating steak. He don't care. I'm just kidding. So, but yeah, man. Heck yeah, for sure. You know, why not, right? But yeah, there was a couple of potential. You know, I looked it up today. I mean, it's still too early anyway, right? It's 2 days early, so There's a few potential coming out of, you know, Casper, Wyoming area. You know, if anything, I mean, we can always pick up like, or just dead head back home. You know what I mean? There's no problem. Or not back home, but to the area where we just come from. It's 500 miles. You know, it's no problem to deadhead 500 miles when you know, where this one is paying 520 a mile. I gotta say though, I think I left some money on the table on this one. I really did. As soon as I realized it was already too late because like the rate count was already confirmed and everything, right? But I think I left about, I would say I could have probably gotten another $300 or $400 off this load. You know, they I didn't factor in how tall the load was really. I didn't, I wasn't able to. I wasn't thinking. You know what I mean? I forgot. I missed that part of it to where because like these are all negotiating factor. You know what I mean? Like the 11 high load, you know what I'm saying, and then freaking, you know, the 11 4 wide, you know, all of this factor in because, you know, the permit wise, right? So, but they know where we got to go through though. They know we got to go through freaking, you know, all of these states over here are 14, you know, the standard 14. It's not just 13.6. So they're well aware of that. But the good thing is, like, the good news is that I think these guys right here, um, I was calling the number, right? I was calling their phone number, and then they have like invoicing, accounting, and all of these other things. You know where my mind is already. You know what I mean? It's turning already. So they make a lot of these things. So that's a good source right there. You know, yeah. Like I said, I think probably lost about 300 or 400. You know, or left 300 or 400 on the table with this load. That's okay, man. That's okay. I think we gain information. You know, I think that information is worth more than $300 or $400. You know what I mean? Uh, so anyway, yeah, man. That's it's getting cold over here. My goodness, getting real cold. Like the people I speak to over here in this area, they're like, man, last week it was in the 80s. Now it's like freaking 50s, 60s. So, but yeah, I thought I'd go logo or go live, man. It's just I thought it was funny or not funny, but it's just it this is how the trucking world is. You know what I mean? Like the majority of the truckers, you know, or the industry itself is that like a lot of truckers are are misinformed. You know what I mean? They're like, and there's most of them are too. It's like they're so confident with, you know, the information that they're putting out, even though it's false. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it might not be 100% false. It might not be their fault. You know, but at the same time, you know, it's like they're not really verifying it. You know what I mean? That information that they are fed to them. You know, so anyway, yeah. Much love from Just Strolling Trucking. Just Strolling Trucking. Hey man, you got a. Hey, what's going on, David? Oh yeah, man. I tell you what. Hey, listen, guys. If you guys want to, like, you know, put together some money, we go buy us a Tesla truck. You know what I mean? Then we can put that thing on the test. You know what I'm saying? I'd be willing to test it out for you guys. uh, Overtime, I'm in Utah. Can you take me out for a steak? That sounds pretty good. Hey, you know what, man? Sure. Why not, right? Hey, you know, if you guys see me out there on the road, man, like if you see uh the truck out, man, you know, just come say hi, man. You know, hey, if you want to grab lunch, if I got time, man, you know, I ain't got no problem with that, you know. So as a matter of fact, if you want some spam, I can cook you some spam. I always got spam in here, so. Yeah, stop by and bring the grill. Oh yeah, heck yeah, man. Oh yeah, where do you live at? Overtime trucking. Where do you live, man? Oh yeah, I appreciate you. You know, trying to get people to do the like. Okay, Ogden, Utah. I like Ogden, man. It's a beautiful spot. All right. Yeah, for sure, man. You know, I might have to what you call it? You can hit me up. What you, Anyway, email address truckingpinoy at gmail, man. truckingpinoy at gmail.com. Which company did you start out with? I started out with Western Express. Very first company I ever drove for was Western Express. Bad decision. Um, I did not do enough research. I type in trucking company. I got my CDL through uh, what is that trucking school in Tulsa, Oklahoma? Dang it. Now I forgot. Anyway, that's how I got. Okay, funny. Okay, let me tell you guys a story. Okay, somebody had asked me about, how did I get into trucking. So before I got into trucking, I was actually contracting overseas. Uh, I was a QA and a QC between, the military and the civilian. They had contractors over there, which were the civilians. Okay, and I was the liaison in between. So any equipment that goes, you know, goes the other way or back to the military, I have to go see it. It has to go through me, and then I gotta verify it. You know what I mean? If it has to get worked on, gets worked on by the civilians. If the civilians get done working with it and has to send it back to the military, I go, you know what I mean, verify that it's good to go for the military, for the mission or whatever. Okay. Anyway, so I was doing that, and then we ran out of contract, and I didn't know what to do. I really didn't. I did some direct TV installs, man. I didn't like that at all. You know what I mean? And then I saw this ad that says, hey, use your GI Bill to go get your CDL. I was like, hey, you know what? Why not? So sure enough, 6 weeks later, I got my CDL. Okay. Uh, Next time I'm in Ogden, I'll have to stop by. I'll bring the steaks. Yeah, heck yeah. Anyway, so I got my CDL, and then at the time I was still continuing doing the DirecTV thing, and then I was like, you know what? Screw this DirecTV thing. Let me go look up a company to drive for, and then I found the very first people that popped up on my Google search was Western Express, and guess what? I went with Western Express. Um, I probably could have chose a better company, but you know what? I'm thankful for that. You know what I mean? Because it humbled me because of the fact that Western Express is a tough place to navigate through. As a beginner trucker, as a, you know what I mean, somebody who has no idea what's going on in trucking, let me tell you, Western Express is a tough company to navigate your way through, and like learn as much as you can. You know, I appreciated them for the time, for the experience that I was able to gain from them. But it's if somebody was to ask me right now, like, what company would you recommend as a new somebody who's just starting, I would not recommend Western Express. So I'll tell you that. Okay. um, but anyway, so I did that, right? Did the flatbed there, and then I pulled about 1 year with Western Express, and then I went into ATS, and then ATS is where I learned a lot. ATS is where I learned a lot about securement, about working load limits, and all of these other stuff. You know what I mean? The specific of things per DOT. So I like ATS a lot. As a matter of fact, you probably see me sometimes wearing an ATS shirt. You know what I mean? I actually wanted to get into like the heavy haul division of the ATS, but I got burned out in trucking after 2 years. You know what I mean? From the starting point, I got burned out, and then I stopped for a little bit, and then that's when I found David, because uh, I went uh, I went and visited a friend of mine in Vegas. Stayed with them for a little bit, and then I found David. David is the guy that I started driving for, but it was like all box. You know what I mean? It's dry van. So I love that. I drove for David for like 4 or 5 years or something like that. David, they're not the best paying, what I mean, company out there, but let me tell you, David will take care of you, man. So that's all that matters, right? You don't got to make the best money. You just got to be happy where you're working, right? That's it. So anyway, yeah, David, man, David was one of the one that pushed me. You know what I mean? Hey, if you're gonna be in trucking, get your own truck. You know what I mean? That's what I did. or else I probably would still be driving for David right now if I never did, you know. So, but anyway, yeah, that's the quick and long story of my journey into trucking. Yeah. Oh man, we got 20 people in here now. Hey, I just want to say, man, I appreciate everyone for supporting the channel, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's just I just want when I first started as an owner operator, I was really lost. Okay, uh, looking for information, I could not locate that information. This was in 2021, early 2021. You know, I think it's because I wasn't asking the right information, or I wasn't researching for the correct information. Um, oh, I appreciate you, Angela. Anyway, I wasn't like, you know what I mean? I wasn't like pinpointing the correct question to ask. I think that's the biggest deal. That's the biggest problem that we have, when you're starting on anything new, right? On anything really, is that you don't know the question that you want to ask. You really don't know how to ask that question or how to research that question. Then there you go, exactly what it is, trial by fire. But anyway, that's I think if you see my first video, and that's what I said, like on this channel, was that I wanted to do this just so everyone sees, people see how I went through it. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I was looking for that information. That information I could not find, or I was not looking up, the right question. I wasn't asking the right question. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's why, it's but at the same time, I never like, I give everyone the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't care who you are. I'm not an expert on any field. You know what I'm saying? I'm not an expert on anything really. You know, it's exactly what it is, trial by fire, right? You get in it. The thing that I don't like about my journey in life is the fact that I started a lot of things. And I get motivated in the beginning. I'm so motivated in the beginning. You know what I mean? And then I get burned out, and then I lose interest. I don't like that. Like this time around, I don't think we're gonna be losing interest this time around. I think we're in it for the long haul right now. I mean, the only reason why we stopped in the first place, right, revoke the authority, is because uh, changes in personal life. So we had a little baby, right? We had a fresh born, and then it was gonna be tough for the old lady at home. So that's the main reason why we stopped in the first place. So yeah, by the way, the guy that got the truck and trailer from us, the Freightliner and the flatbed, man, I still stay in contact with him. Good guy, man. He's still out there operating. He's still running that damn truck, man. uh, Power unit, is Landstar a good company to start with? Power unit only. Man, if you can get in with Landstar, man, I suggest you get in with Landstar. Right now, I don't suggest opening your own authority. Unless you don't mind the headache. You know what I mean? You don't mind the startup. I guess that startup is always gonna be there anyway, even like if let's say the market gets better. I think that headache is always gonna be there no matter what, right? So but once you get through that first year, really, it gets easier and easier and easier. My first year, definitely, I felt that right away, that how much easier it got for me to navigate. You know what I mean? Through working the load board 100%, right? So, but yeah, I would recommend Landstar. I would recommend anybody with good accounts right now. You know what I mean? So anybody that has you know, permanent, what you call it, customers, such as Landstar has a lot. They got different agents in there, and then I think it's a good learning curve as a beginning owner operator. To go with Landstar. If you plan to open authority, might as well do it now. I'm gonna have to agree with that. Yeah. Only care how old authority is. 12-month old to work for JB Hunt. Yeah. 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 If you're gonna do it anyway in the future, if you really set on opening your own authority, I'd say do it. No matter what time it is, just do it. because it the first, like I said, the first year is going to be the hardest, really. But once you get around and start navigating through it, and then it just gets easier and easier, really. you know uh, Not only that, it's better for your insurance, right? So I think I like, I hate and like the route that I taken, and I think a lot of truckers, a lot of small carriers take the same route that I've taken. Is that, just screw it, and let's feel it out and do it. You know what I mean? Go spend me $300, go get my open my MC and get my DOT number, and and then we just go from there, right? Already got my LLC and company name, just still learning. Appreciate the advice, man. Yeah, you're welcome, man. Listen, uh, just ask all the questions you need to, man. I'm telling you. I know you're probably not gonna get all the right questions to ask, but that's why I'm hoping that what this channel brings, you know what I mean, that information brings to you guys, because I want I want people to get into trucking, really, but I want them to be well informed before they get in, just so we don't, I want the rates to stabilize, really. That's where I want it to be. I want the the trucking industry to be stabilized. Like, the trucking industry has such a high turnover rate, man. I wish it wasn't that, there's days where, or years, where you can make so much money in trucking, and then next thing you know, boom, just like where we are right now, because of that, because of the turnover rate, really. you know Money gets better in trucking, people wants to get in, and they haven't done their research yet, and then you get over capacity, and then next thing you know, rate starts to go down. Basically, it's just a cycle that just keeps going on and on and on like that. And that's okay, right? As long as you expecting it, but I think we can do better, really. I think if we, people, channel like this channel, you know what I mean, if we keep, letting people, informing people that are interested in getting into trucking, and that you show them where, what we do on a regular basis as an owner operator, and then the wheels starting to turn, you know what I mean, and then they get the idea, and then they start formulating that idea, and then they start, formulating their own, approach to it, you know what I mean, technique to it or whatever, right? So yeah, definitely like a roller coaster, that's for sure. Trucking is a cyclist, so many are not familiar with this. Yeah, I agree. I agree. As a matter of fact, here in the Midwest, man, I've been talking to a lot of old schools, man, and see, I if you guys don't know, I play a lot of poker, right? And I do a lot of critical thinking. I read people, you know what I mean? And when people tell me information, and if that information don't jive with what they're telling me, and then I'm gonna put them a little bit more in the back burner, that in believing them 100%, right? But anyway, here in the Midwest, man, I talk to a lot of old school, man. A lot of these old school right here will tell you, man. They'll tell you straight up. This one guy, a couple guys spoke to already, like exactly what they're saying. It's just a roller coaster, man. It's just like every 4 years, 4 years it'll just keep doing this right here, slowly go up, and then next thing you know, boom, hits a really, it drops really fast on the graph, and then just does it again, just climbs up, drops on the graph, climbs up, drops on the graph. So basically, it's just, I think, I think we can do better, though. I think, what I want to see, like, how I wanted to see is like, I want we want to see that same thing, you know what I mean, where it just keeps going up and then slightly goes down, goes up, slightly goes down. You know what I mean? That's a good, you know what I mean, what you want to call it, steady market, right? Solid market. But I mean, yeah, I think, that's why I think, if like people are more well informed before they go into it, I wish, like, we can just be like, nah, we don't, uh, we don't want the, we don't want no regulations to be able to regulate why you should, learn before you get into trucking. There should be no regulation of that sort. You know, it should be like, channels like, hopefully like this, where it's uh, just information, right? Man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Man, I just want to say I appreciate everyone. We're going on to the 40 minute. I don't want to drag this too much longer, And I appreciate everyone for supporting the channel, man. Hopefully, I want, like I said, I want this channel to be informative. You know what I mean? And at the same time, I want everyone, I hope people are sharing that information as well. And when I see information that is being shared that I think hasn't been shared yet, I try to spread that information out. You know what I mean? Because that's where we need to be. Like, as people are talking about, like, what, a strike, right? Really, I don't think we need it. You know what I mean? I think if we inform the rest, everybody, you know what I mean? They just like spread the word out, I'll be like, to where everyone can get educated on how to, properly run, you know what I mean? As far as like, what you call it, cost per mile and things like that. I don't think you really need to be striking, because listen, striking, when you strike, you're thinking 9 to 4 or 9 to 5, right? As a 9 to 5 mind frame, we can't be thinking 9 to 5. You know what I mean? We have to think like the as a carrier, okay? As a carrier, is that is a business. You know what I mean? You could lose out anytime, right? It's a gamble. You know what I'm saying? So you can't, like, I think when people push for that, you know, uh, strike, you're thinking more like, a 9 to 5 kind of person. I don't think that's the right approach to it. I think everyone will bloom in their own ways in trucking. That's why I love the trucking industry, because it's so vast. It's just so many ways to grow. You know what I mean? And to find your own ways. Like how, navigate your way around it. That's why when people, I got a couple of people that say, I've been an owner operator, business owner for 30 years or whatever. But a lot of times you get complacent when you get to that spot, right? You, like, let's say you find you 2 3 solid customers that been around for years, and then next thing you know, you just on that one rut. You know what I mean? You're not really going up above the graph or below that line. You know what I mean? You're just on that one straight line. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I really don't see nothing wrong with that. It's just that, but you can't be like, okay, your 30 years of experience cannot amount to the same, you know what I mean, as that person next to you. You know what I'm saying? I think what I'm trying to say is that, like, he might not take that same approach as you have. You know what I mean? So got my LLC Twig Hazmat and just brought a 2020 Freightliner. Nice, man. How much? What's going on? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How much did you get that 2020 Freightliner for? The prices are looking really good, man. I wish I had a lot of extra money, man. I would buy some equipment, believe it or not. 61K. Okay, that's not bad. 61. I know. I'm hearing a lot less problems with with the one box on the Freightliner. So I think that's not a bad. That's not a bad buy. 300,000. You know, uh, if you went on to, it depends on how you look at it, really. Like me, right now, I would be going into the auctions, man. All of these mega carriers that are unloading their stinking fleet, man, I would go into these doggone auctions, man. I would not go straight to the dealers. I would not do that, any of that. I would go into the auctions, man, because the auctions is like, nothing is being bid, man. And a lot of times these, megas, like they, yeah. Packer is getting cheap end of a year. Okay, yeah, and trucking Trucking Without a Clue. I like that name. Trucking Without a Clue. What's going on, bro? In Nebraska right now, in Nebraska, Kansas line. That's where I'm at. We're pulling an oversized. Oh, for those of you guys that, just getting in. Okay, we're pulling an oversized right now. It's like a big old tank. Take a look at it. I don't think you'll be able to see it right now because of it's a little dark. Anyway, let me go look it up on this end of it. It's just a big tank, man. It's 11.4 wide and 10 10.9 high. So we're under 14, and the states that we're going through, you can be 14 legal. So we only got permitted for 11.4 wide. So what's better, flatbed or step deck? Man, listen, if you go flatbed, know your area, know the areas that you're going to operate. If you're going to be OTR, I'm always going to suggest step deck 53, always, every time. OTR as an OTR, okay? Because you're the dead zone, the amount of dead zone that you're gonna run into as an OTR on a flatbed, just a straight flatbed, is a lot more. At least with the step deck, if you have ramps, there's some areas where you can just get out of there. You know what I mean? And you can, if you came in there with a good rate, say, and then you can just pick you up something small and then just get out of there. You know what I'm saying? Okay. If you're gonna get with a flatbed though, get you a 53. I always gonna if you're gonna be OTR, but I don't suggest OTR as a flatbed unless you have contacts. Yeah. If you're gonna work the load board, man, I would always recommend the step deck 53 foot step deck. Okay. On my way to your neck of the wood, man, Las Vegas, tomorrow morning. Yes, sir. Stay away from them casinos, man. How much are you getting paid for that load and how many miles? It is, this load is going 580 miles. We're getting $3,100. Like I was saying earlier, I think I left about $300. I think you can, we went back and forth with this rate. You know, they were pitching it for 25. I said, no way, man, no way. So we went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then we settled on 31. But I think if I had, if I was thinking a little bit more clear because how tall the load is, I could have negotiated it a little bit more higher. You know, I think we can at 3,400. They would have, you know, because they needed it picked up. Because the thing is, they had a crane scheduled for this load already to be offloaded, and I wish I knew that. I didn't know that at the time until the rate con was, set. Like I said, I think when I got the rate con, I was thinking about it. I was like, dang man, I could have had 300 more, but that's okay though. It's a learning curve, right? Anyway, I think the information that we gain out of booking this load for where we for that rate right now, I think is much greater because I've learned a lot, and these people, they it seem like they don't mind dealing directly with the carriers. So we will see. Anyway, yeah, it's not bad. Not a bad price, right? I think it's okay. You know, there was nothing going on in Lincoln, Nebraska. As you guys saw, like my last video, right? I was saying that we're going to Lincoln, and then we're gonna be close to Fremont, Nebraska, and then we were gonna be try to get some of those oversized loads again. Those those free frame those frames, right? That we've done past couple weeks, but there was nothing going on this week. So I was like, okay, we gotta act fast. So I was trying to get to Iowa area. I was actually not gonna pick up a load for the day, but I was like, you know what, man, let me go extend my search criteria to 250 feet. Anyway, but I extended my search criteria to 250 miles, and then that's when I found this. I had to deadhead 240 miles to get to this. Okay. Uh, the trailer, this trailer weighs 11.6. I am empty with a truck and trailer. I'm empty at 33.5, maybe a little bit more now. 33.4, I believe, maybe a little bit more now. So I'm currently pulling the drive van. I'm definitely gonna be switching over to flatbed. I have a 21 Kenworth. Can can you show us how you store your equipment and without tools, without a headache rack? Yeah. Let me show you right now. There goes my chains. Hold on. Hold on. I am I am gonna get a Joe box. I want a Joe box. Look, look, look. There go there goes my doggone ratchet binders. I am gonna get a Joe box right here in the back of it. I think I want to get a Joe box instead of a headache rack. Why? I don't know. I don't know. I think I want to get that. But I think if you get these boxes, okay, you get a box, and then you get two boxes on each side, but make sure they're above the frame. You know what I mean? They're not sitting below the frame. So, and then if you get a step deck, this I think this is a perfect setup, believe it or not. But where I made a mistake is, well, it wasn't even my fault. You know, I ordered it, and then these thinking Dorsey people, they swear up and down that that's how it is, and they've installed thousands of them and never had no problems. Now, the thing with me is that you have to think about, though, we're running 22 fives, 22 fives back here, which is a couple of inches lower than a 24 tall. Okay. Also, our fifth wheel is a 6-inch riser, so I need a 10-inch riser, or maybe just raise it up a couple of inches. I don't know how, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's why the front of the trailer on the bottom deck is sitting at 34 and a half inches. The back is at 36 inches. Okay, he's set at 36 inches. Yes, it's air ride all the way around. Love this trailer, man. If you're gonna, don't get discouraged if I'm talking bad about this trailer, okay, or about Dorsey. The trailer itself is an amazing trailer, man. This quality of the trailer, let's say a Raptor or whatever, you're gonna be around 70K, you know, 70 plus K or whatever. This one, hey, what's going on, Ice Cold? This one is actually 52 out the door, brand new. What's your truck's wheelbase? Man, I don't even know. I really never looked it up, believe it or not. Okay, I'm 65 foot long with, I could look it up right now, with the trailer, okay, 53. Let me see if that information is in here. Okay. No, but I measured it one time. I just don't remember the stinking number, man. No, doesn't have it. No. Nah, it's not on the tag. I'm gonna say it's probably around 230-ish. You know what I mean? I don't know exactly, but it's probably around that much. Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. What's your truck's wheelbase? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I would say probably around 230, you know. I got a 98 East, 51 feet. I got for 7K. Oh, wow, that's a good price, huh? Yeah, man, listen, like, not, is that a step deck, Ice Cold? If that's a step deck, that's a damn good price for 51. Yeah, I think I was looking at a 51 foot. As a matter of fact, I was looking at a 51 foot in Georgia. And those things were 35, 36K. I have a Dorsey trailer, a Dorsey 53 foot 2025, and I got it. It's MSRP for 52. Out the door, it was 65 because of all of the add-ons I did to it. Hey, what's going on, Adam Woods? With What arm were you in the army? When? Oh, you mean? Do you mean when am I? When was I in the army? I was in the army. I joined the army in '99, and I was a mechanic. I joined as a mechanic, so I really didn't do much mechanic work in the military. Learned most of my mechanic work at Cummins. Really, I worked for Cummins for a whole year, and then that's where I learned a lot of a lot of the ins and outs of. Also, oh yeah, I did. When I first started doing contracting for the military, um, that's where I learned a lot in there too. 11 Bravo, yeah, yeah. EOD, my goodness, you guys. I'm gonna stay in my vehicle, man. You do what you gotta do out there, you know. I'll watch you from right here. As a matter of fact, make sure you perform operator level maintenance on your equipment before you go out. That's what I did. That's what I told people. Hey, that's operator level. All you gotta do is do this, do that, right? Get your dash 10, man. Mm. EOD, U.S. Navy, huh? Nice, man. What's what would that consist of? You know, like you got that's the Navy do a lot of that. You know what I mean? Like, what do you as an EOD? Hmm. I don't know. I guess. I mean, I know. It's so vast. The U.S. Navy is so vast that you guys do a lot of other things. You're not just in sea, right? Or at sea, right? If your truck has cameras all around, will they let you check into a military base to pick up a load? Man, I've never had no problem, man. The only thing they ask, going into a military base, do you have weapons? Do you have any contraband? Basically, anything that the federal bans, you cannot bring into a base. So, like, uh, medicine that's not under your name and things like that. You know what I mean? Weapons, obviously. I mean, I know it's not banned by federal, but you cannot bring it in there. Hey, what's going on, Canadian trucker? Straight leg. Never been around vehicles when I was in. All right. My goodness, you walked around a lot, man. You ruck march a lot. How much was your truck and how many miles were on it? Did you get warranty? Okay, I got the truck from the auction. I got the truck for 30,500. It had 629,000 miles in it. Zero warranty. The only warranty I have is right here. This hands and the doggone tools I got in there. That's the only warranty we get. But you have to understand though. I do a lot of this stuff myself, so I'm very fortunate when it comes to that, man. That's one of the main reasons why my overhead is so small, is so low, man. It's because I'm able to work on this equipment. As a matter of fact, most of the work, I'd say 98% of the work that's been done to this truck ever since I've got it, yours truly. Oh, I forgot. Vic Vic was in there with me, man, when we did the freaking camshaft in his doggone backyard. Okay, we did the camshaft on this thing. The camshaft or the lobe ate each other up. Just one of them on cylinder one. Yeah, first cylinder. Anyway, it ate it up, and then we replaced that. We did all that work at my buddy's place. My buddy Vic, military buddy of mine, back in the day, and it was in North Carolina. We did that back in May. As a matter of fact, I made a video about it. You'll see it, back in May. Like I said, May. Yeah. But yeah, we did it out there in the backyard. We made a makeshift freaking, crane over with a chain and try to. And let me tell you, it was ghetto. It was some backyard work type stuff. How's the PDI tuner working? Hey, I gotta make a review on that, man. I love it, man. The camshaft is great. I gotta make reviews on the PDI products, man. I believe 100% on the PDI products, man. There was the booth, also the PDI booth. You gotta get those, man. If you're gonna replace your booth, your intercooler boots. You get the PDI kit. Trust me. Thank me later. Trust me. Uh, the camshaft's running great, man. I mean, it's just you know, you can listen to it. You know what I mean? Like there was, I made a video one time, like you know what that's when that engine needs some attention. And then somebody commented, this guy talks like he's an engine whisperer. Trust me, if you listen to your engine long enough, you will know that when it starts making different noise or it starts to make a different sound, you will know that you have to see what's going on with it. My truck came with a fixed fifth wheel. Do you recommend getting a sliding fifth wheel before switching over to a flatbed? Man, I don't think you need it, really. Um, I think you will know if you really need it. You know, a lot of times if you're working a flatbed, a lot of times where you find the center of your flatbed, right? And then you move about 2 or 3 foot. So whenever somebody loads you, you move about 2 or 3 foot from there, from the center. Just always load it from the center out, right? Anyway, 2 to 3 foot from there, where the center of the load is, 2 to 3 foot. You will never go wrong, because if you have a flatbed, okay, oh, hold up. You gotta have a flatbed with a spread axle, okay, 10-foot spread, because every state will allow you 20,000 pounds, right? I think just about every state. Anyway, but you have to also, when you get to California, Florida type deal, you get the bridge law, you know what I mean? So you got to be 40 foot from the kingpin all the way to the middle of your, of your axles, your trailer axles. So you got to be wary of that too, So there's a lot of variables to it, but I don't think you need it really. I think you will know if you need it. Most of the time, it's not needed. Sliding fifth wheel. I guess unless you're going to be hauling beams, right? Long beams, to where you can extend the amount of length of your vehicle and then put a lot more overhang towards the front, maybe. But you see what I mean? It's like you will know if you need it. It's so specific, right? So is your trailer low pro, and what are the pros and cons about it? It is a low pro. It is, I'm using 17.5s on these tires. You know what? As a matter of fact, I just looked up the prices on these 17.5s because I got a nick on one of the tires. It's not out of service, but I want to change it, and I want to use that one for a spare. And then I look up the price. Actually, believe it or not, I don't mind the 17.5 price, We're at the Nebraska line, man. Nebraska, Kansas line. We're hauling an oversized. It's a cylinder. It's 11.4 wide and 11 foot tall. And we are at 14 high total. What brand were the trailer tires again, and what's the price? They were at, it was a Sabros Newman or something like that, but they were 237, man. That's not bad, but they're only 16 plies though. The ones I have on there right now, they're double coin 18 plies. So I think that's a lot better when it comes to heat. The cons, okay, I forgot to say that. The cons on this, right? They get hot, man. I feel them during the summer. I felt them. They get very, very hot, and that's why people are blowing them a lot, So you have to go really slow. You have to go like, I'm averaging probably 64 miles an hour. When I'm empty and I got to get somewhere really fast, I'm rolling about 70, But when I'm loaded, I never exceed, 65. Especially not in the heat, So because they get hot, they get really hot, and then as they get hot, okay, hold on, let me go. Just so I can show you guys, hold on, let me go get a flashlight, just so I can show you. I can explain it to you. When the tire gets hot, man. So as let's say this gets hot, right? The rim or the tire gets hot. You're gonna start breaking seal right here, and then that's when you're gonna start losing air. Next thing you know, boom, you ain't got no tire on you. That's why you want them to stay cool. You know what I mean? That's why your hubs, your hub oil is very important. Your hub needs to stay cool because your hub will heat up your freaking tires and then that blows up your tires. Okay, so that's what the 17.5s are infamous for. Is they get hot. So just keep that in mind. I think they're not having those problems with the 19.5s. So if I have to do it over again, maybe I'll look into the 19.5s. Because you're not gaining that much more from 17.5 to 19.5. But from 22.5 to 17.5, it's a lot. From 22.5 to 19.5, I think you get by just fine. If you're gonna operate the Midwest, right, like Kansas, you know what I mean, Iowa, Nebraska, doggone Minnesota, all of these states, South Dakota, North Dakota, most of these states, 14. You're legal up to 14. So really, and when you permit them, you can permit them up to like freaking 15. So it's like it's really, in my opinion, if I had to do it over again, I'd probably go with 22.5s because they look better, right? They look cooler for me because they kind of match the truck, right? Uh, have you thought about putting a lift on the axle? I thought about that, man. I really did. You know, I like, okay. So when you put a lift axle on there, right, you're adding more moving parts on that axle, okay? And when, if you're an open deck, specifically like the flatbed or whatever, right, they're always loaded heavy. So when you have more moving parts in there, I think the the likelihood of it, of having more issues in the end as you put more miles into it, I think it's going to be greater, especially those dog bone. I think they're going to wear out a lot faster, the seals and things like that, if you have lift axle on it, because I don't know how I don't know how solid that thing is. You know what I mean? Like, as far as like, I don't know the engineering of it. I really haven't like seen it really close, but I think you're increasing your chances of having problems later on as the trailer gets old. Have you thought about putting a lift? Yeah, that's okay. Do you make 53 step deck 3-axle low pro? Do they make? Oh, sorry. Yes, they do actually. They make. As a matter of fact, over here in this area, I have seen so many 53 foot with the freaking low pros 3 axles, and man, I guarantee you those rates are good. So additive to zinc additive to keep those cams happy. Oils have changed and lack of mullion zinc. Yeah. I did a lot of research on that camshaft, and it seemed like Cummins has had a lot of problems with those. I think it's the quality of the metal that they changed. They did some changes to it from like the non-emission Cummins were having okay. I think it spanned from going overhead single cam. I think that's where they started a lot of having problems with. They used to have dual cams, but they moved into single cam, which put a lot of pressure on those from the lobe to that. I think that's why they started having a lot of problems. Uh, been doing the dry van for 11 years, and you think it's worth learning the flatbed? Man, it's always. Um, Flatbed, it's a different animal, man. You're gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. That's I think that's all. I think that's where you know I think it differs from driver to driver. Flatbed is you're gonna love it, you're gonna hate it. Like this morning, it's freaking 45 degrees outside. My straps were frozen, and I'm over here trying to roll them up. You know what I mean? So like a lot of people would hate that situation. But me, I thrive through that situation. As a matter of fact, I wish it was snowing and raining. I don't know. I'm crazy like that though. You know. How many and what type of chains and binder straps you carry? I carry 6 40-foot straps. Okay, you want to carry some 40-foot if you have a step deck. Um, and then like 24 regular straps, 30-foot straps. And chains, I'm carrying 12 3/8 chains, 12 of them. And binders, 3/8 to half inch. So if you're gonna do this is another thing. If you're gonna do step deck, make sure you got 3/8 chains, man. Make sure you only carry 3/8. I mean, you can carry 5/16, I guess. I don't think half inch. I don't think you need half inch. I don't think there's a need for it. But definitely a 3/8 will always cover your working load limit. As far as like if you need to make it up somewhere, the 5/16 is just not enough. You know, and I feel like they're too flimsy. 5/16 is too flimsy. They're starting Hot Shot soon. Watching you has helped me a lot. Bought a 450. Ooh, man, big money. Those F450, I love the way those things look, man. But, man, good luck to you, man. 3/8, because you're hauling equipment, right? So let's say you're hauling what you call it, a tractor. Okay, a tractor that weighs, or a telehandler or forklift, right? Let's just put that. Okay, I made a video about that. As a matter of fact, securing it. But anyway, it's 20,000. Let's say is your average. Those big ones. There's average. The one that they use in the construction. They're usually about 25,000 pounds, right, on average. So the 25,000 pounds, you got to cover all that working load limit, right? And enable for you to cover that much working load limit, you have to put in a 5/16 chains. If you put one in each corner, you're gonna have to put at least 2 more 5/16 chains on that particular forklift to cover your working load limit. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I suggest the 3/8, because the 3/8, if like my stake pocket on this thing is working load limit on it is 5,000, right? But the chain through the floor, that one is 5,600 working load limit. But anyway, based on the DOT and all that other stuff, I don't want to bore you guys onto that information, but I made a video about that. You'll see it on the chain securement and how to secure these telehandlers on the channel. But yeah, it's you wanna be able to cover working load limit, because when you get pulled over, you want to be able to be sure that you were covered before, so you don't get a ticket. Open deck is not for everyone, but everyone should give it a shot. I agree. I'm an owner operator by accident for the past 7 years. Heavy diesel tech with 12 years experience, and 3/8 is king. No need for half inch. I absolutely agree. Unless, hey, now what if you're pulling RGN, right? Pulling heavy equipment. I think a half inch has a place in there. So, yeah, man. See, trucking without a clue is definitely have the same path. I'm following his footsteps, because a mechanic has his place, man. A diesel mechanic has his or her place in the trucking world as an owner operator. Trust me, that's when you start profiting a lot more, man. That's why I always tell people, man, try to learn as much as you can as far as turning wrenches, because you save so much money, man. You save so much money. Just like, I mean, even just the simple stuff, right? Like changing your air filter. You know what I mean? Freaking greasing your truck. And they just couple of wires here and there, you know what I mean? Like zip tying something, running something the correct way, inspecting something, make sure it's not rubbing Oh man, they're oversized and they're rolling at night. Ooh man, they're about to get in trouble. I think I saw them at the scale house. They're the big uh, bucket of those big old big. Oh, here you go. Here you go. I don't know if you guys can see that, but here you go. They're the big construction mining equipment. You see that? Okay. Oh, they got police on them. They got police escorts, so they I guess they're okay. But dang, they're not supposed to be moving at night. Yeah. Anyway, it's where's my train of thought? Yeah, as a mechanic, you definitely, if you can learn, man, listen, guys, if you can learn, I try to make some videos, you know what I mean? Like, doing things, troubleshooting things, maybe doing preventative maintenance, you know what I mean? Thinking about, like, what would, like, look what to look for when you're doing your pre-trip. Oh, as a matter of fact, pre-trip, do your pre-trip, man. Listen, I was sitting for a couple of days at Sap Bros. The weather changed. Okay? It got cold. You got to check your air, man. Check your air. When the weather changes, check your air. I'm talking about like specifically like literally check your air. The amount of air you have in there. When the weather changes, the freaking air pressure in your tires changes, okay? So, yeah, anyway, I had one of them got really low, and then the rest of them were about 10, 15 pounds lower. It's not that bad, right? I always check them constantly, regularly, but when the weather changes, man, make sure you check your air. I'm talking about drastic change in air pressure, okay? So, yeah, because when your tires get hot, man, they're gonna start blowing tires. And see, that's one of the things that you gotta, you gotta consider as an owner operator. This is some of the things that you're gonna run into. You know what I mean? Like that will save you a lot of money in the long run, right? Labor hours with taxes. Yeah, I know, right? Um, yeah. you know, we actually when I do taxes, man, we profit zero. You know, because look what we're doing. You know what I mean? That's it. I mean, like, I'm not. When it comes to that part of it, I'm not a professional. I got somebody doing it, and hey, it's been working, so it's okay. If we get audited, I will probably screwed. I don't know. You can lose up to 10 psi with temp drop. Yeah. I agree with that. I don't mind that. Yeah. Anyway, freaking. But this is some of the things that you know what I mean. Like when I was uh, I was losing. I didn't have a lot of good response on my pedal, but I didn't know. Okay, but there was a small leak, like very slight leak on my boost, and when I got my freaking thing, my what you call it, the PDI, you know, uh, I found that out. And also when I installed those PDI boots, oh man, big difference in the throttle response. It's just because, but you don't know this until you actually, you know what I mean, until you actually get a little bit more information. That's why I'm so glad I got this tool, even though this thing costs freaking $1,800, but it's a tool that will save you in the long run. Okay. Okay. As mega carriers always operate at a loss, why do you think they keep buying new trucks? Mm. Man, it's the tax thing. I think, like when they're when they get that high, you know what I mean? It's the save them being saved. You know what I mean? Like you'll have the top dogs, are the only ones making money really. Yeah, I heard it's bad in Houston. Let me see. As an owner operator, what would you say three things to prepare for right away? You have to have money saved up, or have a good credit, man. Have a good credit card with a good line of credit, because you never know what's gonna happen, man. You really don't. Things will just come up. You know what I mean? And that's why I emphasize a lot on uh, what do you call it? Make sure you pay attention when you're doing it. The pre-trip is not just going around. I know it's gonna get old. You know what I mean? I know it's gonna be over and over and over. But trust me, you have to you have to stay on your toes, because that little thing could cost you so much money. That little piece of thing that, maybe something rubbing. Like, let's say airlines are rubbing, you don't have the spacer on the rubbing, it fell off somehow, because you're supposed to have some type of spacer on that. You know what I mean? On your brake chamber, there's this little spacer, and you actually get uh, uh, violation if you don't have that spacer on there. But like, if those things are rubbing, the two brake lines are coming into your brake drums, right? Or brake chamber. If those things are rubbing, and then next thing you know, 100, 200 miles down the way, and then boom, they bust on you, boom. Next thing you know, you're freaking, you know what I mean? You're skidding or whatever. You lock up the brakes or whatnot, and the the best thing that could happen then is like you're only replacing brakes. You know what I mean? So just make sure you pay attention to that, man. Your PTI, that's very important. Do you have locks on your ramps? I heard, yeah, they do. I did not, when I was in Texas. I kid you not, I did not get no sleep in Texas. I have chains running through them, and I lock them up. But that's not enough to deter these people. Trust me, they are expert at it, man. Uh, Okay, let me lethal Jit Joseph. Okay, let me finish that off. Okay, so make sure you have reserve money. Okay, if not, have credit cards. Ready. And also when you're doing your pre-trip, man, maintenance is everything, man. Maintenance is everything. Greasing your truck is everything. Checking the air is everything, man. Those things could cost you so much money if one of them was too low and it was to get hot on you and blow up on you. It could take the other tire with it. You know what I mean? Or it could take something else with it. So it's just doing your pre-trip is very important. Okay, and lastly, I'd say expect the unexpected. It's just it's a dog world out here, man. It's a tough world out here. Okay, let me yeah, we already talked about that. I heard it's really bad in Houston, trust me. Another question: would you start authority right away, or would you just lease on with a company? Man, it depends on how you want to go about it, man. Like, do you want, how should I put this? Like, how I say always prepare for the long term when you get into trucking, right? Always operate for the long term. Okay, um, that's basically what I'm getting at. Is that always, uh, are you gonna be in it really like permanently long term? If you're gonna be in it, start the authority. If not, fill it out. You know what I mean? If you don't want, okay. How about this? I put it this way: if you don't want to gamble too much, if you're not a gambling person, if you don't have that gambling mentality, I'd say go the safer route and lease on with somebody. Okay, because startup costs it's the one that's gonna bite you a lot. You know what I mean? When opening your authority, the startup cost, the startup, you know what I mean? All the beginning startup costs, because everything is more expensive when you just started. Okay, and you got less customers too. Um, how you check boost leaks on the Cummins X15? Man, you just have to feel for it, man. Really, uh, I I'd say have somebody in the truck and rev it up to about 1400 RPM, and then try maybe use a spray bottle. You know what I mean? Make sure the fan is not running. Make sure the fan is not running when you're spraying it. But yeah, maybe use a spray bottle. Try to feel for it. You know what I'm saying? They also have a tool where you can plug it in, push some air in there, and check for boost leak. I don't think you really need it though. You know, I mean, I think if you do those where you raise up the RPM and then just try to spray around it, you know, and feel for it. You know what I mean? Make sure the fan is not running. So, uh, what is the recommended PSI for drivers? I'm always running on my steers. I'm always running anywhere from 110 to 112. Uh, it's actually recommended to 120. You know, I think anywhere any 110 to 120, you're okay. You know what I mean? But you have to consider, you have to think about it. Like, I don't drive fast, man. And when you drive fast, that's when things starts to go really, really bad on you fast. You know, because these things are heavy, and they got a lot of torque in them. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of parts involved, in torque, going up and down the road, and you start tearing up tires really fast when you go way too fast on these equipment. That's why they're always rated only for 75 miles an hour on these doggone tires, really, and you don't even want to go that fast. Uh, I'd say average about 68, really. Uh, What is the recommended PSI for steers and drives? Yeah, I'm running. I'm 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 usually in the summer. I would put like 112 on the steers, but on average it's gonna be 110. The drives are always 110 on mine. What type of oil do you use and what intervals? I do my oil changes on this. I use Delvac. The reason why I use Delvac is there's no history on me, but it's because that's what David uses. Mobile Delvac 1540 is what I'm using, and I'm doing it at 12 to 15K. Okay, 12 to 15K, and I'm only doing the oil filter and the oil, and the fuel filters. I do that every other oil change. Uh, what type of loads do you haul with a step deck and avoid? I avoid all regular flatbed loads if I can, unless that rate is really, really good. Okay. Number one, because the reason why I do that is because most there's a lot more regular flatbed out there than step deck. Okay, and most of those regular flatbed loads, such as like shingles and things like that, you're sitting and waiting, and there's a lot of drivers in front of you or behind you, and they have a lot of rules and regulations that they have in place. You gotta, you know what I mean, you gotta back in here, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. But most of your specific step deck loads, none of that. So a lot of that has been eliminated. um, Tire pressure goes off the tire, 14 ply. There you go. I did not know that. Okay. 16. Okay. That's what I'm using. I'm using 16s. Okay. Good to know. I had no idea. I know you can check, like, I know it has the tire pressure on, a stamp on there. I know that. And I never follow that because, like, 120, I think that's too high. I would never go 120, especially if you're running in the heat, you know what I mean, in the summer. I guess in the winter it's okay. But I don't know. 120, I think it's a little too high. Okay. But yeah, I think man, this went on for 90 minutes, guys. 90 minutes, you guys looking at this ugly face right here. Anyway, man, I appreciate y'all. We're gonna end the video here. I appreciate everyone for joining the live, man. I appreciate all the questions, man. I don't have all the answers, man. I'm glad we got trucking without a clue in here. You know what I mean? We got other people in here. You know, it's this is what I wish for in trucking, man. That everybody, come together and share the knowledge. You know what I mean? Not just telling people, hey, you don't know what you're talking about or whatever, right? So, um, yeah, man, I appreciate everyone. I appreciate everyone for tuning in, man. I appreciate everyone for asking the question, man. Because that same question might be asked or might be in that somebody else's, mind, but they just didn't know how to ask it, right? So anyway, uh, uh, I appreciate y'all, man. Trucking without a clue. I love that name, man. You have a good night, brother. And I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time, man. Next time we do live, I'm gonna announce it again when we do live. Okay. So, all right, you guys have a good night, man, and stay safe out there, you guys.